To Naomi, fine. Naomi works largely in the area of trade secret protection and practices and disciplines. And I'm curious to know, Naomi, in your experience and in your practice, how do you see the shaping of intellectual property dynamics to cultivate creativity rather than to block it within your clients' operations?
One of the things I thought I would talk about is the diversity of companies that really see that they have to grapple with this whole tension between protecting and sharing information. And there have been several comments this morning, especially from Michelle, as though the attorneys are on the bad side, on the other side of the fence of innovation, when in fact, as someone more recently said, actually there are a lot of very creative attorneys who can be on your team to help with innovation. The companies that I work with, and I've spent about 21 years now helping many world-class companies, hundreds of world-class companies in technology such as Sun Microsystems and Seagate and Nortel Networks and Intel, and in the pharmaceutical area, companies like Johnson & Johnson and Bristol Myers Squibb, and in the oil and energy fields, companies like Mobil Oil, and in the consumer products field, companies like Levi Strauss and Safeway, and all of these companies have come to me with this fundamental tension of how do we know how to balance our interest in protecting information, which is key to protecting our intellectual property, establishing intellectual property, and protecting our competitive advantage, and how do we balance that with our interest in sharing information, which is so key to creativity and innovation. And my response to that actually is so much consistent with what Prasad said this morning, which is that we have to transcend the polarity there and understand that in both cases, whether we are creating or protecting that creation, we are working towards the strategic objectives of an organization. And I thought I would spend a couple of minutes talking to you about how I have translated specifically for executive staff of some of these companies that I've worked with, how the protection of information and intellectual property, instead of being some burdensome administrative add-on that creates this cog in the wheel and this bottleneck, in fact is a facilitator of and is directly in alignment with achieving the overall strategic objectives of an organization, in the same way that creativity and innovation are also key. So this is from a client that I worked with just last week that happened to be a pharmaceutical company, and one of their strategic objectives that you may find to be very similar to a strategic objective of your organization is to lead the industry. So the translation is, information protection establishes proprietary rights to products, ideas, designs, processes, strategies, and other intellectual assets that make a company unique in its markets. This creates positive market differentiation and establishes the foundation of leadership in this particular type of industry. Another one of their goals was growth. Growth requires expanding ownership of intellectual assets, avoiding loss of intellectual assets, and establishing the trust needed to expand relationships with source and alliance partners. So the point here is that by understanding how the protection of information, which some see as a constraint on creativity and on collaboration, that actually the protection of information, which is the foundation for establishing any form of intellectual property, whether it be a trade secret or patent or copyright or trademark, that kind of protection is essential to achieve the organization's overall strategic objectives. And that really what we need to accomplish is a way for everyone within an organization to see it as part of their job to protect information so that it becomes integrated with their business processes and not some additional add-on burden that they see simply adds to their already very full plate.